Hello, Dede. Hello, Naisha and Jesus. Hello, Vivian. Hello, Lena and Nancy and Annie. Hello. Hello, Majda. How is everyone doing? Why do other English speakers not sound like me? You can understand me clearly, but you can't understand other people very well. Annie, you can understand me because I try to speak well. That's really that easy, that simple. When I teach, I try to use simple language most of the time. I try not to speak too quickly, and I try to pronounce every word very clearly. Okay? Most people, when they speak, they're just average people. They're not trying to speak well, they're just speaking. I am trying to speak well. Why do I keep getting that notification? What is that sound? I have muted everything, so I don't know what that is. Very strange. Hello, Mosin. Not everyone tries to speak carefully when they broadcast, but some do. All right, we're about ready. We're going to get started here in just a minute. I'm turning all of you off. Many foreigners also think your Chinese grammar is incorrect. Why would they correct your grammar? That's a little weird. Thank you very much, Majda. Ah, right. Well, that's the point. Right. When most normal, regular people speak, they speak casually and not carefully. And so, many people, 90% of people, they don't realize how lazy their language is. So what you're hearing right now is not lazy language. That's the difference. There are some speakers who speak more lazily, and there are some who speak more clearly and carefully. Why does joining a conversation, why can it be said as contributing to a conversation? Carl, because that's easy. When you have a conversation, it should feel like everyone is sharing. If you're having a conversation, it should feel equal. It shouldn't feel unbalanced, right? So that means everybody should contribute to the conversation so that it feels balanced, right? So maybe I'm having a class and I'm teaching about a subject and my students are all talking about it, but there's one student who is not talking about it. So I will say, excuse me, would you like to contribute to the conversation? That means, would you like to say something about what we're talking about, right? To contribute, to put in your part, okay? You know we're going to study the article today. I still want to ask you a sentence in... She wished he didn't have to leave before the end. Can this sentence be used both when the end has already happened and when it hasn't? Let me think about that. She wished he didn't have to leave before the end. Yes, actually, Larry. Depending on the context, you could write that in a way that would mean the end has not happened yet, or the end has already happened. The rest of the context would tell you that part, okay? And she wished he hadn't had to leave before the end is the same thing. Let me make sure. Yes, I think that's the same thing. I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that in this case, the didn't or hadn't wouldn't make a difference. It's the same. The end could have happened already, or maybe it hasn't. Okay? Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and start with my article today, because today you are lucky. You're in luck. Today is a good day for you because everyone asks me one question. I talk about something all the time. Every live stream that I teach, I talk about how important it is for you to think in English. You need to learn how to think in English, right? But everybody says, but Teacher Mark, I don't know how to think in English. How do you think in English, Teacher Mark? That's so weird. Well, okay. So I wrote an article and I explained everything. All right? So we're going to read this article and talk about it. And now every time you ask me, how do you think in English, Teacher Mark? I'm going to tell you to go read my article. All right? I get tired of answering this question. I answer it so many times. I will show you where. I will show you where. Let's see. I'm going there now. Okay, so this is my blog. Okay? 如果你是中国人，我感觉你需要用梯子。我不知道，可是我觉得。Okay? So this is my blog. It's right here. This is what it looks like. Okay? Be a language warrior. Okay? And right here, this is what we're going to read today. Look, I have many articles. All of these are written by me, not by ChatGPT, by me. These are my words, my ideas. Okay? So today we're going to talk about this one here. Okay? I'll give you the link. Here is the link for this specific article right here. Okay? That's the article we are reading right now. Today we are talking about fluency is a myth. Fluency is a myth. Comfort is the goal. A complete guide to thinking in English. Okay? You don't need, well, yeah, 一些人需要，一些人中国人需要，一些人不需要。我不知道为什么，这是奇怪，可是一些人可以，一些人不可以。Okay, so the next one, here we go. I'm going to read and we'll talk about it, all right? So fluency is a myth. Comfort is the goal. Every day people ask me, how can I be fluent in English? Here is my honest answer. Fluency is a myth. Why is it a myth? Because if you cannot define it, it does not exist. How many words do you need to know to be fluent? Must your grammar be perfect to be fluent? Does your accent matter to be fluent? Can you be fluent if you cannot talk about astrophysics or Cambodian history? The dictionary says fluency is speaking freely and comfortably. But I cannot speak freely and comfortably about everything, and neither can you. So, what you really want is not fluency. You want comfort. Comfort in thought first. Comfort in expression second. To become comfortable in speaking, you must learn how to be comfortable in thinking first. When your mental language becomes strong, your physical language follows. Okay? When your mental language is strong, your physical language is strong. All right? The next one here. This guide shows you exactly how to build that comfort using my 4-step method. I will give you daily micro exercises, self-checks, common mistakes, and a 30-day plan. You will also see how to stop translating from your native language and start thinking directly in English. Treat your mind as though it is a perfect virtual, I need to fix that. That should be virtual practice room. Quiet, focused, safe, consistent. Then the real world becomes easy. See, look, that's how you know I wrote this, because I misspelled the word virtual. If this were ChatGPT, it wouldn't be misspelled. So the core idea, language must live in the mind before it can live in the mouth. If your inner English is weak, your outer English will also feel forced. It will always feel forced. Okay? If your inner English is comfortable, your outer English will sound natural, even when you're searching for words. Fluency is not speed. Language, just like music, has no one singular speed. And fluency is not just rote performance. Rote performance, that means sometimes people think fluency means that you say something a lot. If you say it 1,000 times, then you're fluent. No, that's not fluency. That's just repetition. Okay? And if you're just repeating the same thing over and over again, that's called rote learning. That's right. Rote means repeating. Right? And sometimes repetition can be good if it's used in the right way. But if you're trying to speak to someone, you're trying to have a conversation, you can't be thinking about words that you already prepared. That's not a conversation. That's rote learning. That's rote practice. Okay? Fluency is the clean and comfortable connection between thought and words. Okay? So here are the 4 steps to think in English. Baby English is step 1. So here's the mindset for baby English. Think like a baby. Babies do not know grammar, so you do not need to think about grammar for now. Babies think about what they want, need, feel, likes, and dislikes. Simple thoughts create fast pathways. Let me repeat that. Simple thoughts create fast pathways. So begin by training your mind to have all your simple thoughts in English. If it's simple, then it's simple, right? So why are you not using English? When you're tired, why don't you think I'm tired in English? That's simple, but you don't do it. If you're hungry, why don't you think I'm hungry in English? It's simple, but you don't do it. This is the first step. Change all of your simple thoughts into English thoughts. Okay? Here is a daily micro exercise. Say or think short lines all day, right? So, as you go through your day, if you're at work, sometimes when you're thinking, just think, I feel happy. I feel tired. Right? I like chocolate. I do not like grapes. Just think simple things. I want water. I do not want coffee. I need a break. I do not need sugar. Right? These are simple things you can think about all day. Very simple. Whenever you have opportunities to practice simple English or see things that you can say using simple English, and that should be using, I need to correct 2 things. Do it! Have as many simple thoughts in English as you can. The more time you spend using your English thoughts, the more comfortable you will start to become with using your English mind. Hello, Vicky. Okay? Here is a common mistake. Don't forget KISS. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. Don't make it complicated. Don't make it difficult. Keep it simple, stupid. All right? That's what KISS means. We say that a lot in America. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. All right? If you feel complexity, you have moved too fast. This is like when you learn to swim as a baby. First, you learn how to get comfortable in shallow, safe waters. Once you feel comfortable swimming in the shallow water, only then can you move to slightly deeper waters. You did it right if you can run 10 simple thoughts in a row without translating. And it feels boring, but in a good way, right? So these are simple thoughts. They're easy, so it shouldn't be hard for you to have 10 simple thoughts in a row without translating. That should not be too hard. but it should feel good. Like, I can do it. I can have 10 simple thoughts without translating. Okay? All right. Step 2. Step 2 is Curious Kid English. It's called Curious Kid English. The mindset for step 2 is kids at the age of 5 to 11 are full of questions. Who's that? What are you doing? Why? Where are we going? When will we get there? Curiosity pulls language forward. So you should do just as kids do. And using English, create as many 5 W's questions as you possibly can and answer them in your mind with full sentences. Everywhere you go, ask simple English questions in your mind and then try to answer them using simple English sentences. Who do I see? Oh, I see my neighbor and I see my friend. What are they doing? Oh, they're talking to each other. They're having a conversation. Why? Oh, well, they're talking about going to the movies this weekend. I'm thinking of questions, simple questions, who, what, when, where, why questions, and then I'm trying to answer them. Okay? What if you don't know the answer? Okay, if you don't know the answer, then that is your homework. That is something you should write down and go figure it out for later so that you can try this again and then you will know. All right? So sometimes you will not know how to say something. Sometimes you will not know what it's called in English. Those are the things you need to write down. Okay? Get a notebook and write those little things down, and you can study them and learn them, and then you can add them to your mind so that you can think with them. All right? Vocabulary upgrade. Kids also learn that there are some words that only babies use, and they don't want to be treated like babies anymore. So, they begin learning more vocabulary words to upgrade their language, especially adjectives, from baby words to kid words. Yummy becomes delicious. Good becomes excellent. Big becomes huge or massive. Look for words you can upgrade in your language. A thesaurus is a wonderful tool for this. Try thesaurus.com. If you don't have a thesaurus or you don't know what one is, go to thesaurus.com and you will see. Here's your daily micro exercise. So at the market or on the bus, I want you to ask, who is here? If you go to the market, I want you to think in your mind, who do I see? I see the boss. I see some workers. I see many people buying things, right? What are they doing? They're buying things. They're buying food, whatever, right? Where am I? I'm at the market. It's downtown, or it's by the park, or it's down the street and on the right. Those are directions, right? When does it open or when does it close? Well, the market opens at 8 a.m. and the market closes at 6 p.m. Okay? Why do people come here? People come here to buy food. People come here because they like this market. Okay? Right? So you answer each one. And how questions. How does this work? How do I pay? Right? Think of the question and try to think of the answer. Okay? You did it right if you can walk through a place, like a market or a park, and produce 5 questions and answer pairs without translating. Okay? So, if you go to the park and you can ask 5 simple questions and answer 5 simple questions, congratulations, you did it. All right? So that's step 2. Then we have step 3. Step 3 is called Identity English. Identity English. The mindset for step 3 is teens. Teens want to talk about their interests and their hobbies. They want to talk about their family and their friends. They start talking about work and school and other parts of their identity. Teenagers want to talk about themselves. So do you. So if you want to talk about your identity, you must first think about your identity. All right? So here's a daily micro exercise. Make a list of topics, like simple topics. Simple, like family, friends, work, hobbies, interests, travel, school, your past, your present, your future, your goals, your dreams, right? Those are simple topics of identity. Who are you? That's these things, all right? Pick one item and think it through in English for at least 2 minutes, right? So choose your family. Can you think about your family in English for 2 minutes? Can you think about your hobbies in English for 2 minutes? Right? Who's your favorite uncle and why? Where did you meet your best friend? Can you think about that in English? Can you answer that in English in your mind? What work does your father do and when did he start? How did you get into your hobby? What do you want to do next year? These are questions that you can think about and try to imagine the answers. If you can imagine the answers, then you can say them. Okay? You need to remember, guys, part of language is imagination. Okay? So here's a little grammar note. At this level, at level 3, a little beginner intermediate grammar helps. Okay? So at this level, baby English, level 1, you don't need any grammar. Level 2, curious kid English, you need a little grammar, but very simple grammar, right? At level 3, you now need some intermediate grammar, okay? At level 3, you need intermediate grammar. So you need past versus present perfect, or comparatives and superlatives, right? Better and best, right? Articles, prepositions. Babies don't need grammar, but kids do. So be sure that you are doing some grammar study and practice to make sure you know how to use the language properly at this level of basic kid language. All right? You did it right if you can tell a short personal story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. And you remember the story structure more than the rules, right? So I want you to tell a short story about yourself. Think about telling a short story about yourself. It needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. All right? Finally, we have step 4. Step 4 is Advanced Topics English. This is a very difficult level. Okay, the mindset for this level. This is the highest level of English thinking. It's a very difficult level that many language learners never really reach. And I got to fix that too. There's 3 mistakes. Or never really need to reach. Okay, so some people never reach level 4 of thinking. All right, but many people don't really need it, because level 4, we don't really need to talk about things in level 4 very often. Okay, most language in life happens with level 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but level 4, it says here, the majority of common language exists in the first 3 steps of English level of the English thinking. So this level is reserved for advanced English learners only. This level is only for advanced learners. At this level, we're thinking about advanced topics like economics and politics and religion and philosophy and ethics and civics and government and social and global issues and science and history and technology, right? These are very difficult topics to talk about in any language, okay? So many people, they don't really reach level 4, all right? Many people don't practically need this level of advanced thought in a second language, right? But even if you don't need it, it's a great challenge just to try to think in English about something advanced which you're really familiar with in your native language. Okay? So for example, what are you very familiar with? What do you know a lot about in your language? What do you know a lot about? Think about some topic that you really, really know. Can you talk about that topic in English? Can you think about that topic in English? Right? Think about an advanced topic that you know a lot about in your language. Now try to think about it in English. All right? Here's a micro exercise. Pick a claim. Climate change is real or not real. Support it with 2 reasons. Come up with 2 reasons to make your argument. Add 1 example. Then add 1 counterpoint and a reply. Right? So counterpoint means I say something, you say something, then I counterpoint. Right? All right? So keep it short and tight. Don't make it too long. Right? You did it right if you can hold a 2-minute internal debate and still feel calm. So you can have a little argument. You can have a little debate in your mind for 2 minutes about a topic that's difficult, like science or history or whatever. Okay? All right. How to stop translating from your native language. We're almost finished. Just keep paying attention. For most people, translating is a slow mental process that requires time and effort. And this slowness becomes stressful when you're trying to have a real conversation, right? Someone is speaking, and now you're trying to translate what they said in your head. Then you need to translate your answer back into English. It's like trying to drive a car, but you can't move until the passenger tells you what to do first, right? So you're driving, but you're not allowed to do anything until the passenger tells you first. Can you drive like that? Can you drive like that? No, you can't. Right? You can't drive if somebody else is telling you what to do. It's too slow. It's too complicated. Doesn't work. Right? So, you can't drive relaxed like that. So that's what it's like when you're translating everything in your mind. It's like that. You're translating. You can't do it that way. You need one driver. Okay? So translation, it keeps your brain split between 2 systems. You are trying to think in one language while speaking in another language. That is mentally exhausting. The goal is to unify those systems. Unify means to bring them together. To make English your one language of thought in real time. So if you want to speak English, then you must think English. All right? Here is how you retrain your mind. Build direct connections. Instead of instead of linking the English word to your native word, link it directly to the image, the action, or the emotion it represents. This is important. Okay? Sometimes when you learn a language, you think about the words and not the image. But guess what? Words are very easy to forget, but images are not. Your brain is designed to remember images. So when you learn a new word, think of the image. Think of the picture of that word, of that thing, of that feeling. All right? Think of that picture. Think of that feeling. Don't just think of the word. All right? So when you hear apple, don't think of translation. Picture the apple. Taste the apple. See it. Feel the direct meaning. All right? Step 2, simplify your thoughts. Translation happens most when our thoughts are too complex. So if you catch yourself stuck, return to baby English. Go back to the easy way. Short, clear thoughts like, I like this. That feels good. I understand. Those are simple things. Simple, easy. Many people are ashamed or afraid to use simple, small sentences because they think that simple, small sentences means that your English is not good. But guess what? Those simple, small, but something those small, simple sentences are, wow, I need to rewrite that. Man, I think I found so many mistakes. So, simple sentences give you time to think, right? So if you need time to think about what you're going to say, you can say a simple sentence like, I see. I understand. Okay. Use a simple sentence and now you have some time that you can hear and listen and think. All right? So, the faster and more comfortably you can think small, the more time you'll have to think big. Let me say that again. The faster and more comfortably you can think small, the more time you'll have to think big. So if your small thoughts are easy and quick, great. Now that gives you more time to think about the difficult things. All right? Rehearse mentally, not verbally. Throughout your day, talk to yourself silently in English, in your mind. In your mind, describe what you see. Ask questions. React to things in English, in your mind. This is your mental language simulator. Your private practice room. It's where you build the habit of direct thinking without judgment or stress. Okay? 4, let mistakes happen. Don't worry. When you force perfection, your brain runs back to translation for safety. So if you try to be too perfect, your brain will get scared and it will start translating again. Okay? But mistakes are evidence that your English brain is waking up. Your English brain is starting to come alive. Okay? Stay in English even when you're unsure. Confidence grows from staying there, not from escaping back to your first language. Okay? Mistakes are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of progress. If you are not making mistakes, then you aren't making progress. Okay? Finally, use rhythm and feeling. Use rhythm and feeling. Thinking in English is like feeling the rhythm of a song. You don't need to analyze every note. You need to feel the pattern. You need to feel the music of the language, right? The more you focus on the flow of your thoughts instead of the individual words, the sooner your brain will stop translating. This takes some time to get used to, but once you do, it's just like you can hear music in your mind. Now you can use your English mind to sing beautiful and powerful melodies of language. This is the most important stage of learning, the play stage. The play stage. When you can play with the language in your mind freely and comfortably, then you can play with it and really have fun learning through exploring. Another mistake. I have so many mistakes. Summary. Translating feels like the natural thing to do, but it limits your speed. Translating is too slow. Translating makes it hard for you to relax. Okay? And it will hurt your language confidence later. All right? The real goal is not to eliminate your native language mind. It's to graduate from dependence on it. So we're not trying to get rid of your native language mind. We're just trying to make it so that you can use English without your native language mind. Okay? I will post, here's the article, is right here. This is the link to the article. If you want the article, that's the link right there. Okay? All right. So, the real goal is not to eliminate your language mind is to graduate from dependence on it. Once you can think in English without the middle step, English becomes fun, right? It stops feeling foreign. It starts feeling familiar, and it's fun, okay? The mental practice room. Think of this like a virtual reality for your language. It's a space that exists only in your mind, and it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use for language development. In this space, in your mind, there are no grades, there's no audience, there's no fear. No one is correcting you, no one is judging your accent or your grammar or your word choice. It's just you and your thoughts. And that's exactly how babies learn to speak. Not by being corrected, but by playing with the sound and meaning until their mind starts to connect them naturally. Like, we do correct babies, of course we correct children, but children also learn just by playing with the language, by making mistakes. They learn. So be like a child. Make mistakes so that you can learn. Okay? The mental practice room is where you can start to feel language as something alive, not mechanical. You can test ideas. You can make mistakes. You can repeat phrases and experiment freely. You can imagine conversations. You can hear yourself respond, or even replay a discussion that happened earlier in the day and try to say it better. You can narrate your actions as you go through your day, silently in your mind or softly out loud. I'm washing the dishes. I'm opening the window. I'm thinking about what to eat for lunch. At first it might feel slow or strange. That's normal. You're rewiring your brain to think directly in English. But more often you enter this mental space, the more often you go there, the more comfortable it becomes. And eventually that comfort will flow into your real life. Okay? Inside this practice room, you are not chasing perfection. We're not trying to be perfect in this practice room. We're trying to chase control, not perfection. Control. Comfort, not perfection. Rhythm, not perfection. Okay? The goal is to let English begin to flow through your thoughts without stopping for translation. Okay? Like a musician learning to improvise, you're teaching your mind to play freely with what it knows. Right? So a musician can play freely. They can make a song. They can improvise. That's just the same with language. You can play with it freely. You can improvise. Okay? When you think in English like this, something powerful happens. You begin to notice patterns automatically. You start predicting words before you think of them consciously. You start hearing sentences form naturally without effort. That's the sign that your inner English has begun to grow. So, treat your mental practice room like a meditation. Enter it every day for at least a few minutes. Sit with it in patience, right? Sit in patience. Be patient with it. Let thoughts come and go in English. Don't force them. Don't worry too much about their perfection. Just relax, think, feel, and let the language carry you. Let the feel of the language carry you. Okay? Because this is where real learning happens. Not on paper, not in grammar drills, but in the quiet, private world in your mind where you're free to imagine, free to experiment, and free to play, and free to build your confidence from the inside out. You don't have confidence. Why? Do you know why you don't have confidence? Because to have confidence on the outside, first you must have confidence on the inside. So to have confident language when you speak, you must have confident language when you think. All right? So, Now, we're almost finished here. Okay, here's the plan. This is the plan here, all right? I want you to do short sessions many times. Your brain learns best through repetition, but not marathon sessions. So, 10 short visits to your mental practice room is better than one long visit that drains your focus. All right? So, don't try to think in English for 3 hours yet. You can't do that. That's too hard. That's too draining. That's too tiring. Just think in English every day for 5 minutes. 10 times. Right? So 10 times in your day, try to think in English for 5 minutes. It's not hard. All right? Think of it like you're practicing an instrument. Right? You don't play drums for 5 hours once a week. If you play drums for 5 hours once a week, you won't really improve. But if you play a little bit every day, short, frequent practice keeps your language alive in your mind throughout the day. All right? 2, there's no perfection during mental practice. We're not looking for perfect. This is your creative space, not your performance space. You are not on stage. You're experimenting. Let the thoughts come however they come. Grammar and vocabulary corrections can wait until later. Okay? The goal right now is flow, not flawlessness. Flow, not perfection. Flow. Just relax. You can say English with bad grammar, but good flow. Okay? And you can say English with great grammar, but bad flow. Okay? If I speak like this, then I don't have good flow. I have perfect grammar, but not good flow. Okay? So, the goal right now is flow, not flawlessness. If you want to, you can occasionally make some small notes about the things you want to work on or correct later as you do your mental language practice. So, maybe when you're thinking, you see, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to say this. I think this is wrong. I say this all the time wrong. Okay, if you know that you make a mistake a lot, write it down. Make a little note so that you can work on it. All right? But don't make too many notes, because if you make too many notes, you're stopping too much. Right? You're stopping the process too much. Okay? So make some notes, but not too many. All right? If you feel stress, simply slow down, right? Simplify. If it gets too difficult, go back to baby English. All right? Stress kills learning and performance. Say that with me. Stress kills learning and performance. The moment you feel tension, return to easier language. Go back to baby English if you have to. Comfort first, fluency later. As you become more comfortable from doing so many repetitions, your language will naturally begin to speed up without even trying. So, you want to speak faster. You don't need to try to speak faster. You need to do more repetition. If you do more repetition, you will naturally speed up. You don't have to try. Okay? It happens naturally. Repetition equals control. If you repeat something enough, you'll gain control over it. Control equals comfort. If you've done something a lot and you have control, you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable, then you have fluency. Okay? Comfort equals fluency. So here is your daily plan. 5 minutes, 3 times a day. In the morning, baby English. I want you to think about 10 needs or feelings or some simple ideas or desires, right? I want this, I like this, I need this, I don't need this, I'm happy, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm fat, whatever. 10 things. I want you to think 10 things in the morning. Simple baby English. In the afternoon, I want you to practice curious kid English in a real location. So go someplace like the market and ask questions. Create at least, I forgot to put in the questions. I'm glad I did this so I can fix my mistakes. Create at least 5 question and answer pairs. 5. All right? So who is that? What are they doing? Why are they here? Where are we? When do they open? When do they close? There's 5 or 6 questions. And then answer them. 2, right? So ask a question, answer a question. In the evening, I want you to practice identity English. Try to do a 2-minute story about your life, right? Try to do 2-minute story about your life. Quick, do tense, do checks. Do a little quick check about your tense, your articles, and your prepositions, right? So try to tell a story about your life and then check the tenses and the articles and the prepositions to see if you're right or wrong, right? Review a few notes about things you wanted to check grammatically, okay? 2 days a week, I want you to stretch your mind a little bit further and step into advanced topics English. This is where you start practicing the art of building and defending ideas, not just describing them. This is advanced. Okay, advanced. This is not for beginners. Choose one complex subject that already interests you. It could be technology, art, psychology, culture, or anything that you already know about in your native language. Then, in your mental practice room, try to form a short argument or reflection about that thing in English, right? So choose some topic that you already know about in your native language and try to think about it and make an argument or an idea about it in English, okay? A simple structure works best. Make a claim, give 2 reasons, add 1 clear example, then a counterpoint and a reply to it. Learn how to do this. This short exercise will train your mind to organize advanced thoughts in English and to move beyond everyday conversation into deeper territory. Okay? It doesn't need to sound academic or perfect. The goal is to stretch the way your mind handles complexity while still staying comfortable. So, when you're thinking about this complicated idea in English, don't try to be perfect. Just try to think about it. That's all. All right? If your mind starts to get tight, or you feel stressed, or you feel lost, that's your cue to slow down and simplify. Comfort always comes before complexity. Remember one of the most important rules in language. Simple words spoken well are always better than complex words spoken poorly. Let's say that again. Repeat after me. Simple words spoken well are always better than complicated words spoken poorly. Okay? So here's your weekly checkpoint. Once a week, take a 5-minute quiz, take a 5-minute break to measure your progress. Not with grammar or speed, but with comfort. Right? Measure your comfort. Measure your clarity. Measure your control. Ask yourself, can I think for 2 full minutes in English with no translation? Did I try to spontaneously record one story without using mental translation? So can you record a story about yourself? You know, how did you find your hobby? Where did you meet your best friend? Can you record that? And then honestly listen to it and review it. Excuse me. Did I at least add 5 upgraded adjectives to my active vocabulary? Are you adding vocabulary? Are you adding adjectives? Not memorizing them, but using them spontaneously, right? So don't say the big pizza, say the huge pizza, say the giant pizza, say the massive pizza, right? Are you thinking about words or ideas? This is important too. Listen to me. Are you thinking about words or ideas? Thinking about the words is like thinking about which individual muscles you use when you walk. When you walk, do you think about each muscle? No. You think about walking. You think about the idea of walking, and then you walk, right? So this is the same thing here, okay? Nobody thinks about the individual muscles when they walk. They just think about the idea of walking. So language is similar in this way. Try to think about and feel the ideas, and the words will come. Okay? If you answered yes to any of these, then you're moving in the right direction. The goal isn't perfection, it's movement. Every week, your English mind becomes a little bit stronger, a little calmer, and a little more natural. Here's some tests. You can test yourself. These are not exams, they're just something to test your progress. The coffee test. Order a coffee or a meal without practicing in advance. Order a coffee or a meal. Go get a coffee at Starbucks or something, right? And don't practice beforehand. Just do it spontaneously. If you can do this smoothly without mistakes, or even if you need to adjust a mistake, if you make a mistake but you correct it and you still stay calm, then you succeeded, right? Look into the mirror and talk for 1 minute on any everyday topic using English, and don't translate. Try to record it. When you listen back, if you understand yourself easily and you like the way it sounds, then your inner English is working. Here's the friend story. Tell a friend a short story about your day. Watch their reaction. If they follow without asking you to repeat or clarify, then your communication is clear, right? So if they understood you and they didn't need to ask questions, great. But if they look at you like this, then that's a problem, right? So here's your 30-day challenge. I'm almost done, everybody. This is the end here. The 30-day challenge, okay? Week 1, focus on baby English and curious kid English. Keep it simple, emotional, and physical. Do it often. Week 2, add identity English. Record 3 short personal stories about your family, friends, or hobbies. When you replay them, try to pay attention to your rhythm and structure. Week 3, begin adding 1 advanced topic session every other day. Use the claim, reason, example, counterpoint, reply method. Okay? Make a claim, state a reason, give an example, give a counterpoint, give a reply. Remember, it's not a debate, it's just trying to train your mind to be deeper. That's all. Okay? Week 4, mix all 4, or at least the first 3, daily. Okay, so in week 4, every day you should be trying to practice baby English and curious kid English and identity English and advanced topics English. Every day you should mix it and try to practice some between them. Try to have at least 1 real conversation every 2 days. Don't script it. Don't write it. Don't memorize it. Just speak. Don't overthink it. Let your mental English do the driving. Track your progress in 3 columns. Track 3 things. Okay? Control, clarity, and comfort. Those are the things that you should be trying to measure. Your control. Do you have good control? Does it feel like it's controlled? It's not like shaky. It's controlled. Is it clear? When you speak, is it clear? And is it comfortable? All right? Remember to rate each from 1 to 5, right? So I feel comfortable. Oh, that's a 5. I feel my control is not good. Oh, that's a 3. Okay? Don't obsess too much about the numbers. Just try to look at the trend. Are you improving? Right? Are you getting better? So here are some quick, frequently asked questions. Does your accent matter? Only if it blocks your understanding. Focus on control and clarity. Accent is the final layer, not the first. So that means accent is only a problem if people can't understand your accent. So if you have an accent from India, that's fine. No problem. Keep it. But make it clear. That's all. Okay? How many words do I need? You need enough words to say what you think today. Tomorrow you'll need more words. Build vocabulary naturally inside the context that fits your life. So the vocabulary you learn should be the vocabulary you need. Let me say that again. The vocabulary you learn should be the vocabulary you need. You. Everyone is different. So everyone needs different vocabulary. I am a drummer. I know many words about drumming that you do not know. You don't need to know them. They're drumming words. Okay? So, do you know what a permutation is? Probably not, because it's a drumming word. So, I know that word because I'm a drummer. But many people don't know that word. My parents don't know that word. Okay? So, everybody learns what you need for your life. Okay? Should I memorize grammar rules? Only the big ones. The ones that really hurt you. The ones that you have trouble with. Memorize those. Anything that you have trouble with, anything that's really hard for you, yeah, memorize it. Okay? Okay, and what if I still translate sometimes? That's fine. Everyone does it sometimes. Okay? When it happens, notice it and try to reset back to baby English. Go back to simple thoughts and do your best to go back to thinking in English. Okay? All right, here it is, everybody. Here's my final thought. Here is my final thought. Stop chasing fluency. Chase comfort. Fluency is not a finish line you cross one day and suddenly you feel complete. No. No. It's a myth built from comparison and insecurity. What you're really searching for is that deep, calm comfort that comes from living inside the language. That's where it isn't stressful. It's comfortable and even fun. So every time you step into your mental practice room, you are doing something extraordinary. You are building rhythm. You're building connection. You're training your thoughts to take shape in English without fear or hesitation. You're learning to trust your own voice again, but through a new language. You have to learn to trust your voice again. Okay? You trust your native language voice. You know how to say things in your native language voice. But you don't trust your English language voice yet. You need more practice thinking so that you can build that trust. If you want confidence on the outside, first you must have confidence on the inside. Okay? It doesn't matter if you pause or you forget a word or you take time to think. It doesn't matter. Those moments are not weakness. Those are not weakness. That's just proof that your English mind is alive and that it's thinking and adjusting and growing. Okay? So if you need to stop and pause, that's okay. If you forget a word, that's okay. If you need to think about something, that's okay. All right? So, live inside your English. Don't just visit it when you need it. That's what you do. You visit your English. You don't live there. You don't live there. If you only visit a place, you don't really know that place. If you live there, You know that place. So, live in your English mind and you will learn what English is. But if you just visit English occasionally, you're just a visitor. Okay? Let English become the silent inner voice that describes your world. There's an inner voice in here. Let it become an English inner voice. Okay? Because the sound that people call fluency isn't really about perfection at all. It's the sound of you feeling completely at home in your own thoughts. That's what fluency is. It sounds comfortable. It sounds like you're at home in your thoughts, right? In your native language or in English. 2 homes, right? You have 2 homes now. One in your native language, but you have a new home in English. But you, what does this say here? A home is only a home if you spend time there. A home is only a home if you spend time there. So, start spending time in the home of your English language, your English mind. Start spending time in your English home, up here. Start thinking in English. All right? That's it. That's it. It took me 1 hour. 1 hour and 10 minutes to do all of that. Look at that. That's a big article. That's a big article. Look at that. Wow. Look how much I wrote. And I will fix the few mistakes I found. I will correct those later. But if you like this article, once again, here is this article. Right there. Go read it. Print it out. Study it. If you don't understand it, copy it and give it to ChatGPT. Give this article to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, I don't understand this article. Can you help me understand this article? It will. All right? Wow, that took a while. 1 hour. Ugh. Blah, 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 blah. All right, but there it is. There it is. There it is. Thinking in English. That's how it's done. That's my answer. That's everything you need to know about how to think in English. So from now on, if you have a question about how to think in English, I'm going to send you here. I'm going to send you to read my article. Okay? Does anyone have any questions about what we talked about? Now that I'm finished, do you have any questions about that? You really need to read that article. You should study that article. Okay? Do you think we can improve our learning spontaneously without taking notes? Well, yeah, you can. But it won't be quick. It won't be efficient. So you can learn just by watching TV. You don't need any books. You don't need any grammar. You don't need a teacher. You can learn that way. Is it the best way to learn? No, it's not. It's definitely not the best way. It's a very slow, inefficient way to learn. But you can. So, can you learn spontaneously without taking notes? Sure. But it would be better if you take notes. Okay? Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Islam. I will stay for a little bit, but I am tired. I've been talking for 1 hour straight. You think I'm the teacher you needed? Maybe. I don't know what you need. If you need to feel excited about learning, then maybe I'm the teacher you need. I try to make learning exciting. I try to make learning... I try to make my passion for learning contagious. I try to make my passion for learning contagious. So when you see me, you can see I am passionate. You can see that. And that is contagious. That means if you see me and I'm enjoying it, I love it, I am interested, I'm excited, now you want to be interested. Now you want to be excited. Okay? Using the air purifier seemed to help your throat. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Ivan. Good. Thank you very much, Ink. Yeah, so once again, I will give you this article again. The article that we just talked about today is here, okay? That is the article that we read today. But guess what? I have many articles. Let me show you some of my other articles just quickly. Okay, so today we talked about fluency is a myth, right? Here's another article. Impress me with your questions. That's a great article. Okay, sometimes people come here and they say, how can I be good in English? And then I get mad. Because that's such a big question. How can anyone answer big questions like that? It's too big. So this article is about asking the right questions. Impress me with your questions. If you say, how can I be good in English? I'm not impressed with that question. I am not impressed with that question. If you say something like, Teacher Mark, I really have trouble with my TH pronunciation. Can you help me figure out the right mouth position? That's a good question. If you say, Teacher Mark, I'm having trouble with simple past and present perfect or past perfect, that's a good question. It's specific, right? But if you say, how can I be good? That's not a good question. Okay? If you give me a lazy question, I will give you a lazy answer. So if you say, how can I be good in English? I will say, try hard. All right? A lazy question will get a lazy answer. All right? Here's the next article. The wisdom of the weak side. This is an interesting article that's about how you can learn a lot by trying to do things with your weak side. So, for example, have you ever tried to brush your teeth with your other hand? Have you ever tried to brush your teeth with your other hand? Have you ever tried to open the doors with your other hand or pour milk with your other hand? Have you ever tried to write with your other hand? There are so many things that you can learn from challenging your weak side. Okay, so this article is about that. And here is an article about the 2 guiding principles that shaped my life. So if you want to know why am I the way I am, read that article. It will tell you about why I am the way I am. Okay? Here's an article about code switching. Here's an article about balancing your social media. Here's an article about the value of learning how to teach. Here's an article about shadowing. Many people ask me, is shadowing good? Read this article. Okay? The 8 pillars of language. That means the 8 parts of language. Read this article, and it will tell you about how language has 8 parts, and you need to understand that. Okay? I have many articles here. Many articles here. You should go read them. Okay? This is my blog right here. That's my blog. All right? I also have a YouTube channel right here. I also have a website right here. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything? Yes, I did. Marco. Hello, Marco. Are you applying all of my strategies with Chinese? Yeah, that's how I learned this, Marco. All of the ideas that I'm teaching you are the ideas that I learned and used for myself in learning Chinese. Okay, and now I just thought, well, I did that in Chinese. That should work in English too. So, yeah, I have used this. These ideas, the idea about thinking in English, that article, you can use that idea for any language. If you are learning German, the article is still the same. Just everything that says English, just change that to German, right? French, German, Japanese, Portuguese, whatever language you are learning, that article about thinking still applies. Okay? Can I teach you some slang? Jacob, I don't teach slang for a few reasons. I don't teach slang, number one, because slang is always changing, right? So the slang words that they use right now, next year, that word might not be used anymore. So you just wasted your time, right? There are some slang words. For example, Jacob, when I was a boy, if something was cool, you could say, oh, that's so rad. Rad, R-A-D. It was short for the word radical. Radical means exciting, right? Or very crazy. So if I say it's so rad, that was so rad, man. We used to say that when I was a boy. But we don't say that word anymore. Nobody says rad anymore. I wish they did. I like that word. So I don't teach slang because slang comes and goes. Okay? And slang is mostly childish. I'm not a child. Okay? Slang is mostly childish. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to improve in Japanese, but it's a completely different way to memorize kanji with respect to Western languages. Well, yeah, kanji is like learning Chinese, where you have to learn the correct stroke order, and you have to learn exactly how to write them, and it requires a lot of repetition. Learning how to write Japanese or Chinese is a physical act. It's like drumming. It requires repeated coordination. So you write that word, you write that character 1,000 times, 10,000 times. And after you write that character 10,000 times, your hand knows how to make the strokes. Okay? Yes, I am a teacher. There equals suspicious? What? No, I have no idea what that means, but there does not equal suspicious. I don't even know what that means. How to behave well with pores. Don't know what that means. How to kill time in the night when you don't want to sleep. Read. John, read, man. Read. Are you a man? John, are you a man? Men, read. Do you go to the gym? Do you go to the gym? Do you work out sometimes? You work out your body, right? You work out your body because you're a man, and you say, I need to work out my body. I need to be in shape. Well, guess what? You need to work out your mind. You need to work out your mind. And the best way to work out your mind is to read. Okay? Read, 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 read. Every day says actually I was struggling to adjust with pores. Okay, so I don't know what you mean exactly, but in my experience, poor people are usually a lot nicer than rich people. So I don't know why you're having problems, because usually poor people are pretty nice. That's my experience. Okay? If you ask a stupid question, I will not answer it. If you ask something that you know is stupid, I'm not going to answer it. Okay? Thank you very much for the compliments. Give you some examples of stress in nouns of 3 syllables and 4. Okay, hold on. One moment. Interesting. This is wrong. That's hilarious. I just asked AI to give me some examples, and all of the examples I'm reading are wrong. And one of them is not even a word. That's hilarious. It's not ChatGPT, it's Google. Google's AI is terrible, really. So, hold on. Let me just do this. Here we go. So, for example, noisily, happily. Those are 3-syllable words where you put the accent on the first syllable, right? Happily, noisily. That's the first syllable is accented, right? But there's a good article about this here. So if I say the word parliament, the first word is stressed, right? Limited, the first word or the first syllable is stressed. Celebrate, the first syllable is stressed, right? But so if it's 3 syllables, it's a noun, an adjective, and a verb, then it's probably going to be on the first syllable. Okay? If it's a noun, adjective, or a verb, and it's 3 syllables, probably the accent is going to be on the first syllable. If the words end in IC, SION, or TION, right? So ick, shun, or shun, then it's on the second syllable. Like, for example, perfection, right? Or let's see. Geographic, right? Geographic, it's on the second syllable. Or commission, commission, right? Formation, information, right? So in this case, the stress comes right before the ick, the shun, S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N, right? Tradition. So right before the shun, tradition. Contradiction, right? So contradiction is 4 syllables, but the accent is right before the shun, right? Contradiction. Okay? So there's that one. But if it's a 4-syllable word, like for example, appreciate. So that one usually comes on the 2nd syllable or the 3rd syllable. So, for example, appreciate is on the 2nd syllable. Appreciate, right? Or the word bacteria. It's on the 2nd syllable. Bacteria. Okay? Or diplomatic. That's on the 3rd syllable. Diplomatic. All right? So 4-syllable words. I have an article for this. I'm going to give it to you. Okay? There's a good article that explains all of this from Busuu, if you know Busuu. Here is this article. Let me send it here. Hold on. I do need to go. My voice is too scratchy. I'll finish this and then I'll go. So here is this article. This is the article, and look, I'm going to share it so you can see. Okay, this is from Busuu, okay, and go down here and look. What are word stresses and sentence stresses, right? The importance of weak vowel sounds, word stress rules. Here it is. 2-syllable words, 3-syllable words, words ending in ick, shun, or shun, 4-syllable words, and compound words. Okay? Here's the rules right there. Okay? So let me give this to you again here. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to take a break, Islam. Don't worry. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Marco. Good luck to you. Okay, let's see. I'm an English beginner and I see prepositions at the final. How does that work? When do we use? So some people think that there is a rule in English. Some people think there's a rule that says that you cannot end a sentence with a preposition. That's not true. There is no rule. There is no rule that says you cannot end a sentence with a preposition. Okay? That's the reason why people think there's a rule is because there was a rule in Latin, and English partly comes from Latin. So in Latin, there is a rule that says you cannot use a preposition at the end. But in English, you can. It's okay. All right? Who are you going with? Where are you going to? Those are prepositions. I ended the sentence. Who are you going with? Okay? I can also say, with who are you going? With whom? But still, it's weird, right? ChatGPT also makes a lot of mistakes. Yeah, but not as many as Google. It was terrible. ChatGPT is pretty good about a lot of things, like grammar. It's pretty good about that. Can I pronounce the word comfortable? Right, so there are 2 pronunciations of the word comfortable. You can say comfortable, which is comfortable, 3 syllables, or you can say comfortable. Nobody cares. That's a question that doesn't need an answer because nobody cares. Okay? Does the site have plans for pronunciation correction and systematic speaking practice. If you're talking about my website, yes, on my website there are many things for pronunciation practice and speaking practice. Yes, on my website. Okay. All right, I think I answered all of the questions. But I want to learn native English. This is native English. Okay? I promise you, what I am teaching you is correct. You should learn what I'm telling you. All right? All right. So that is it for me today, guys. I need to go because I've been here for 1 hour. But now there are two things. If you want to know the answer to how do you think in English, right? How to think in English, how to think in English. How do you think in English, Teacher Mark? Teacher Mark, you always talk about thinking in English. How, Teacher Mark? Now you can go read the article and you can go watch this video on YouTube. Okay? As soon as I'm done here, this video will be on my YouTube channel. So if you want, you can go watch it again if you don't understand how to think in English. Go read the article, go watch the video. Okay? Here is my blog. Here is my YouTube. And here is my website. Okay? Okay, I have been, if you don't know who I am, hello, my name is Teacher Mark. I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. And I have been live streaming for 5 years. I am a real teacher. Really, that's my job. Okay? And I have been teaching most of my life. Okay, I've been teaching English since 2009. I have 84,000 followers on Hello Talk. 84,000 people watch me to learn English. More than 1 million people have watched my live streams. Okay, more than 1 million people around the world have watched my live streams. Okay? Yeah, 如果你是中国人，如果你要看我的 YouTube， 你知道你是要用那个梯子。Okay? You want to learn more about idiomatic expressions. Okay? So Marjorie, I'm finished for today, but I will give you a place you can go. You can go to theidioms.com. Theidioms.com is a pretty good website. I won't call it a great website, but it's pretty good. It's a good place to start. Go there and you can learn a lot about idioms. Okay? All right, and what is the time of my live streams? I don't have a set time because I don't make money here. So sometimes I'm here at 9 o'clock, sometimes I'm here at 9:30, sometimes I'm here at 10, sometimes I'm here at 10:30. All right? But I'm here usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm here almost every day except Sunday. I'm not here on Sunday. But if I'm not busy, if I'm not sick, if I'm not tired, then I'm probably here. Okay? Now, what time am I here? I cannot tell you the time in your time zone for everybody in the world. I can tell you that my city, the city I live in, it's the same time zone as New York City. So, when am I here? I'm here in the morning, New York City time. New York City time in the morning, that's when I'm usually here. Somewhere around 9, 10, okay, in the morning. So that means it's about 9 or 10 in the evening in China. Okay, if you're in China, I'm on in the evening around 9 or 10 o'clock. All right? All right, I must go. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, wherever you live in the world. And I will see you guys next time. Please go read my article. Share that article. It's the most important article that I have written. Okay? I have many articles, but that one is the most important idea that I teach. So go watch this video again and go read that article again. All right? Bye-bye. See you next time.